In all honesty, I do expect visuals to be a little bit sharper here, but Skurry has mentioned that in the race format, when the pressure's on, he tends to perform a little bit better than he does in practice. So we'll have to see how this shakes down. Reminder, if you're just joining us for the first time in this tournament, we do go on the basis of a loadless timer, which means that the loads are removed in the transition. So you will probably see some desync between the timers of these two runners. I know Visuals complains about his computer a little bit. I feel it. He actually has specs very similar to my old computer, so I understand his pain very, very well. Yeah, so you'll probably see visuals lag behind for RTA purposes, just in terms of that, and we'll do our best to keep you abreast of the situation as the race goes on, and if it ends up being particularly close, probably somewhere around the Harris split, we'll do a resync for you guys. So first trick that you saw right off the bat, inventory dropping. Open up the inventory while you're falling. It uncaps your fall speed and also gives you a soft fall on landing. Very simple stuff. This being a Metroidvania, we are going to go around and collect some skills in order to unlock other areas to get other skills. Health in the top left corner, as well as our soul meter. And Palm, a lot of this game is routed around geo and soul management, and in terms of what you're going to utilize for your spells, whether it's going to be healing or using your fireball.
Yeah, it makes the routing very interesting because it's not too technically difficult of a game when you compare it to something like Celeste. There's much fewer inputs per second, but a lot of it's kind of intelligence, game knowledge, where you want to get soul, how many hits you can afford taking, stuff like that. So it's a different kind of speed game in that sense, but it's still very enjoyable to watch, very enjoyable to route.
Yeah, so this area of Dirtmouth, they are in a slow zone, basically, where they have to jump in order to maintain maximum horizontal speed. Visuals forgetting or perhaps dropped an input there, lost just a couple frames as Skurry enters at 116, but Visuals ahead at 115 heading into the Forgotten Crossroads, so already an early lead here for Visuals, but that's going to mean too much. There's a lot of soul farming that they're going to have to do here in this room. As they drop through, they're going to try and avoid some of these enemies. They are RNG based. Skurry ends up taking a hit. Looks like Visuals is going to get through fairly cleanly.
Yeah, most of this early game is just going to be, we're going to see small RNG, we're going to see the runners gain or lose a second, especially in the Aspid Arena here. I think they both do it a little bit differently, but I'd be very surprised if they entered Vengeful Spirit. Okay, Skurry misses the double spike, so Skurry will lose a bit of time here, but again, I'd still... Viz goes for this? Dude, I didn't know Viz went for that. Anyway, yeah, they'll be within 5 seconds of Vengeful Spirit. Almost guaranteed.
Yeah, so a little bit of a cleaner Aspid Arena there from Visuals. Got 1 spike kill. Skurry got 0 spike kills. These golems that are popping out, these centipede-looking type things, are on a local cycle when the screen loads in. So that movement there is pretty much always the same. So Vengeful Spirit, we'll talk about that real quick. That's the fireball of the game. It does 15 damage. The nail does 5. So for the most part, we're going to be looking at the nail as a soul farming tool, while Vengeful Spirit is going to be our main source of damage as well. We're going to be acquiring a charm later, which you can equip, that will modify various different things. The one that we're going to be grabbing specifically is Shaman Stone, which will increase the Vengeful Spirit's damage from 15 up to 20.
Yeah, as we're watching here, Viz is at about a half-second lead. Something else to note is because Viz has been playing, again, 106, which is a different category, these starting areas he's going to be extremely used to, as in these starting areas he's played every day for the past 3 weeks or so. Whereas as he gets further in the run, he'll get into a little more unfamiliar territory. Of course, he knows the run, he knows the 80% route like the back of his hand, but he hasn't been practicing it as much. So I almost expect Visuals to get into an advantage early game, and then Skurry might kind of make it up later. But currently it is still about a 1 second difference. They both get bad false snipe patterns. We'll see when they actually exit this room. Neither of these times are actually very good for the runners. They haven't been making the best RNG, and they've been making a few mistakes, notably in the Aspid Arena.
Yeah, one of the things that is kind of interesting between these two runners is that Visuals tends to have the better early game and Skurry tends to have the better late game. So as you're alluding to, particularly with Visuals still running the game, you would expect him to have an advantage maybe up to, say, the Watcher Knights, and then Skurry might have an opportunity to be able to catch things up on later. But so far, we're getting a 334 activation of the Vengeful Spirit cutscene for Skurry. We'll see where Visuals is, and that's going to be about the same time. So pretty dead even here in the early going.
Yeah, like a 338-ish for actually getting the BS for both runners, which is definitely something they would both reset if this were a PB attempt. But in a race, it's a pretty good time. Any 3-3x in a race, I think these top runners will take. We're coming up to Baldur's Spit here, which is a really annoying portion of RNG toward the beginning of the game. The Baldur that they come up to can either spit out these fireball-looking spits or smaller balders, and we need him to spit out one smaller balder, which is an RNG chance. So hopefully they keep it tight because it's fun to watch these two really close to each other. So I hope they get the same spit count.
Yeah, there was actually a race in I think it was yesterday, actually, where one of the runners ended up getting like seventh or eighth spit, and one of them got like second spit or something like that. So this is usually a bit of a reset point. Third spit for Skurry. In terms of PB attempts, it's a bit of a reset point. But obviously he can't reset in a race situation. Visuals gets first spit, so he is going to take a bit of an advantage out of the Baldur spit section here, and then they're going to be moving on to Green Path, where they're going to be utilizing Vengeful Spirit for a more interesting thing as opposed to damage.
Yeah, each spits about a second and a half, so we see Viz with now about a 3-second lead, as you'd expect. But yeah, as Shape was alluding to, we do something called fireball skips. There are 3 in Green Path. One of the things that you might not notice about Vengeful Spirit is when you shoot it, it actually cancels your downward momentum a little bit and pushes you back. So we can use this and shoot it mid-jump to actually get more distance on a jump than we're intended to. And when we can do things we're not intended to, we can go places we're not intended to. So as you'll see here, Skurry's going to at least attempt the first fireball skip here. See how he does. A late turnaround, yeah, he spent too long turning around there, so even that little bit of a mistake makes it not enough to get that full distance there. We'll see how Viz does.
That should potentially balance things out. Yeah, Viz gets it, but he did have a significant amount of trouble, for his standards anyway, in the Grezza room trying to farm up some of that soul. So I would say that probably about broke even between the two runners. Second fireball skip here is going to be the most important of the 3 that they're going to be doing. This one is on the order of what, like a 20-second time loss?
Yeah, if you go for the backup, it depends how long the backup takes you, because the backup is luring an enemy, so that can be kind of random how much time it saves you. Skurry's also a little low on soul here. There he goes. Okay. And visit full soul as you'd kind of expect coming into the second fireball skip.
Yeah, so a 601 fireball there on the second one. And just a 6. So yeah, we're still within a second of each other despite a couple of mistakes on either side of your screen here. Now Skurry on the left going for the last of the fireball skips, fires 2, gets it cleanly, and he's going to be heading up to the Vengefly King now. Somewhat recent change in the routing in terms of geo acquisition, which is a pretty heavy, important part of this run for some of the items that we need to pick up.
Yeah, the longer we go in the tournament, the more I'm like, I guess it's not really a recent change in the routing anymore. It was to me, but I don't know.
In speedrunning terms, I would argue that it's potentially, relatively, it's like, what, 6 months old or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's relatively new. I mean, take a look at some other games. They have some route changes, like, oh, we're doing new route, and it's a year old. So it's all right.
Yeah, so there are other ways to do it. Go ahead.
We'll see how Skurry ends up doing on his Vengefly King. Ideally, he's going to kill the Vengefly King on top of this platform, taking a bit of a damage tank to throw some fireballs, and have most of the geo fall on top. Some of it does slip away and fall down on the bottom. Visuals now on the right-hand side of your screen attempting the same thing. He had a much cleaner setup for that and is not going to have to drop down to pick up any geo. So a few more frames there gained in terms of advantage for visuals as they'll now head off to fight Hornet. And if you want to talk, Palm, about the nature of Vengeful Spirit and double hits, which is something that is going to be utilized throughout the course of this run.
Yeah, double hits isn't the easiest thing to do on Hornet. Some runners go for it, some runners don't. What it is when you shoot Vengeful Spirit, if you shoot it while the enemy's moving in that direction as well, the hitbox can actually hit the enemy twice, so you get twice the amount of damage off of one fireball. Skurry looks like he's doing a little bit of an older kind of setup for Hornet. It doesn't look like he's going for double hits at all. My guess is Viz will not either. A lot of the newer runners will, but it looks like we'll just see single hits and bullying Hornet into the corner, which is what we used to do. Oh, Viz might have gone for one there. Either way, 801, 802 cloak for Skurry. It's going to be a little bit better for visuals. I think that Vengefly King made actually a pretty big difference there. About a 5-second lead, 4-second lead.
809 save and quit for Skurry on the left-hand side of your screen. We're going to see in visuals in a second. 804. Yep, so about a 5-second difference right now in favor of visuals. Taking the lead now by a bit more of a substantial margin than we've seen so far here in the early game. So now we're going to be heading off to collect some Geo, basically, and then head off to fight the Watcher Knights and Umu and then Hera later on. If you've never seen this game before, the way that is routed in and the reason why it's routed in, as well as acquiring Dreamnail, is that there is a temple that you have to enter that is sealed by 3 seers. And so we have to basically recover the seers to unlock the temple and gain access to the quote-unquote final boss of the game. So we're going to be heading to pick up our next skill of the game here first, along with probably our first sort of, in addition to the fireball skips, a major skip coming up here in the Explosion Pogo.
Yeah, we're going to have Explosion Pogo, which is a big skip. It saves probably in the order of a minute, maybe a little bit less. And then Mantis Pogo, which also saves something like 15 seconds or something like that. So both skips that are kind of reset worthy if you miss them. We'll see how both these runners do. Again, Visuals has been doing this on the daily. But at this caliber of runners, you don't really expect them to miss it. They might, though.
It is one of the reasons this category is run on patch 1.2.21 as well, is because Explosion Pogo was pseudo patched out on current patch. You can still do it, but it's much more difficult. So you pogo off the projectile, then the explosion, and boom, you're on your way towards picking up Mantis Claw, our first required skill of the game. Dash not required, but very handy as it makes us go fast. So the Mantis Pogo here for Skurry left side of your screen. Looks like a fairly clean setup. Didn't quite get his first dash in there, but got the third Pogo on the Mantis and is able to make his way cleanly. Now Visuals on the right-hand side setting up for as well. Nice little dodge. 3 Pogo straight away. Does not attempt to go for the early dash. Saves a few frames on that and collects his Mantis Claw as we move on to the next segment of the run.
Yep, pretty clean from both of them on Explosion Pogo and Mantis Pogo. It did kind of look scary for Skurry when he... Scary for Skurry? That's a phrase. When he dashed into the wall, but that is mostly intentional. He doesn't really expect to make that dash, and he knows how to recover if he doesn't.
Well, I mean, we are coming up on Halloween, so perhaps when Skurry goes trick-or-treating, he'll be named Scary?
What is that supposed to mean?
I'm old, let me have my pun.
Scurry's gonna dress up as Skurry for Halloween.
Scary.
Yeah,
scary.
Skurry will do this from in a very weird way. He missed like 2 pogos that he wanted to hit, but he still recovered it. He almost hit those spikes there. Viz will show you the normal way to do this from, which is a lot more just normal dashing and pogoing.
Yeah, as mentioned before, those golems on a cycle. Just pogo off the mosquitoes, you're good to go. Coming up onto Gruzmother, which we are killing largely for Geo, but also to access Salubra's hut, so that we can acquire the Shaman Stone, talk to Sly, get him back into Dirtmouth, so we can buy the lantern from him later. We'll get into the reasons why we are doing that instead of other things that we could be doing. So what we're going to be trying to get happen here on the Gruzmother fight is to kill her first and then basically do a couple fireballs to try and clean up all the mini Gruzzers that pop up out of her corpse in such a way that they don't climb up to the ceiling and cost us a whole bunch of time. Skurry left side of your screen getting the kill.
Really clean.
Very cleanly. Visuals is going to be entering Gruzmother at the same time on the right-hand side, and we'll see whether or not Skurry will be hired as a janitor in the near future. And okay, well, you know, maybe at a junior high school or something.
Yeah, he did miss 2 Gruzzers, but the 2 Gruzzers he missed were on the ground. Viz doesn't miss any, so Viz you can hire as a professional.
Put him in your office buildings, folks.
It's a lot worse if those 2 Gruzzers that you miss with the fireball are in the air because you have to jump the full distance to hit them. It might not seem like too much time lost, but it actually is really annoying to go up and grab them to be able to open that gate and get to Salubra.
Yep. So we're benching here in order to perform a trick called Shade Skip. This is going to be our intentional death of the run, taking some damage off of these husks as we enter into Sly's hut to pick him up and send him on his way back to Dirtmouth. We're going to take this death and it's going to spawn a Shade, which for the mechanics of this game takes away 1/3 of your soul meter and also holds all of your Geo. That's not the important part of this trick, however. The important part is the Shade that it spawns, which we are going to lure off to the right-hand side here in order to skip into the blue lake area way ahead of time than we're supposed to be intended. And, Skurry gets a fireball. That's going to cost him a couple seconds. Does get the second setup. Visuals, no fireball, and he will continue to eke out more of that lead as we head towards picking up Dream now.
Yeah, that's kind of in the story. It's been like every screen, either they go in tied or Viz saves like 1 second, and now he's got almost a 20-second lead here, just off of those small time saves. Just really clean play from Visuals.
Yeah, it's kind of been a bit in the way of RNG on Skurry's side, a little bit in terms of execution. Execution as he sort of flubs that wall jump there. And they head off to Dream Nail. So one of the other reasons you saw a lever skip there, that's not the lever skip that we run on patch 1.2.2.1, but that is part of the reason why. Later on, we're going to be hitting a lever through the floor, which they did later patch out, and also saves a whole bunch of time as we head towards the Watcher Knights fights. So you'll see that when it comes up, and we will be getting on the left-hand side of your screen roughly probably about a 12:58 or so entry into the Dream.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't bother trying to guess the time before it actually happens.
Yeah, it's like
13:01.
13:01.
Yeah.
And a 12:42 for visuals. So yeah, about a 19-second difference at the moment. Definitely still within striking distance for Skurry. We're going to be coming up not too long from now, in roughly 10 minutes or so, onto a pretty RNG-heavy boss, which is a floating jellyfish, where mistakes are going to cost you around 20 seconds. So this difference could be made up for pretty quickly. Or visuals could take an even more significant advantage. But we first have to head to the City of Tears, do a lot of geo farming, which is, Palm, as you well know, sort of a deceptively difficult and fun area to traverse through.
I don't know. Some people, I'm really not a fan of city geo farming. Some people like it a lot more than I do. Yeah, we need to get to, after Watch Nights, we need to be at 1222 geo. 1222 is the magic number. The patch is 1221, so don't get confused between those two. All the runners grab geo differently. There probably is an optimal way, but both Viz and Skurry are very veteran runners, so they probably have their ways that they like. They're not really doing the newfangled efficient strats. I don't know why you do anything efficiently, honestly.
Are you calling these runners old dogs?
Maybe.
Big think. All right, so a lot of reasonably precise platforming here is going to be going on in the City of Tears section for two reasons. One, the platforming itself, you're kind of in some tight corridors, but two, there's also a lot of enemies that really want to kill you, and you have to simultaneously try to either avoid them or kill them in turn in order to farm the geo. You see there Skurry doing a quick little double pogo off of those husks there, one slash on the Rava in order to farm up a little bit more soul. He's going to do a full cleanup of this room for some geo, 2 fireballs, nice and clean. Visual is going to be imitating the same thing on the right side of your screen shortly. Did take an extra swing though at the Rava there, which is going to cost him a little bit of time and afford Skurry an opportunity to shave a few seconds off that lead.
Yeah, Skurry, that room can be really annoying in a lot of RNG. Skurry got it. Skurry got pretty good RNG, and Visuals got hit twice. Visuals did actually get one of the Ravas toward the beginning of the room. No, Skurry getting a little slide there, just to show off. Why not? They're coming up here. Go ahead.
That's a relic that they picked up. You can go ahead and you can explain why we're farming a whole bunch of relics.
Yep. Yeah, the relics are just these kind of little items. They might not seem useful right now. You can sell them to Lem, who's a character later on in the game, and he gives you really good money for the relics. So just going there and picking up that one relic might seem like kind of a stupid waste of time just pogoing off those spikes. It actually, once we sell it, it's going to be worth 450 geo, so definitely a worthwhile way to collect geo in this route.
Speaking of 400 plus geo, this is the gorgeous Husk, which we kill for 420 geo. Get your memes in chat. And also the first major instance of double hits that you're going to see with the increased hitbox from Shaman Stone, as you see the gorgeous Husk moving away from both runners there in the middle of the fight, firing off some fireballs at the same time in order to acquire some double hits and make the fight a lot quicker.
Both of them actually getting 419 out of that 420, which is unfortunate. Skurry at 563, which is kind of above where you really need to be. He might need to collect a little more geo later, but he's pretty set. Viz might fireball here. Yeah, he will. So he's going to collect a little more geo now. He's at some number. I can't do math. 537? 547. Told you.
So this is the lever that we were talking about for lever skip. You go slash it through the floor there, nice. And then you pogo off the Ravas. A little bit of a dark room, fairly easy, to be honest, to get through as far as dark rooms go in speedrunning games in general, and then we head up to fight the Watcher Knights. And if you didn't know, there's a chandelier that Skurry is going to be breaking here above the fight room, which is going to kill one of the Watcher Knights and start with a 1 Watcher Knight first phase. And now the pain and torture and suffering begins.
A super clean city, by the way, from Skurry. It's going to be a 33 entrance to Watcher Knights. Gate close at 33. I'm just watching for when Vysuals does it. Yeah, Vysuals lost like 4 seconds to that city. It was a really good city. Not the best RNG on the first night. So these runners, we might not be as concerned with deaths to the Watcher Knight. Of course, it could still happen, especially with both of them being down to 4 HP after this first night. But it's going to be more about how fast the fight is. They're looking for like a 1 minute 10x, so less than a 1 minute and 10-second fight. Skurry's getting kind of bad patterns here to start off. You don't want them hopping around like that. Yeah, this is a little bit ugly for Skurry. Still at 3 HP at least. Never mind. I shouldn't have said anything.
One quick correction, not correction, answering a question in chat. Call them Ravas because that is the noise they make and it sounds cute. So,
yeah.
Fight me. Alright, so Skurry down to 2 HP, a little bit of an unfortunate situation here for him. He might consider playing it aggressively. If, no, he's going to probably try for a heal now, down to 1 HP. Vysuals having a much better fight on the right-hand side. Skurry takes a death. That's going to cost him a lot of time, and I don't think he did. No, he did not do the City of Tears bench either, so that is rough for Skurry. That sets him back a lot.
He's screwed.
Yeah.
He has to... Yeah, he's just going to sit on this bench. He might forfeit here.
Yeah, unless Vysuals takes a death as well, then it's going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible, for him to catch up on this. So I would not be surprised to see a .ff from Skurry.
The reason that this is so brutal is because we do need to set up Shade Skip again, which means we need to die again. And if you die without your Shade, you actually lose all of your money. You can't get it back. So even if Skurry were to replay this entire portion of the game, which would lose a ton of time, he wouldn't have any money for the end game. He'd have to find this whole new geo. He can't come back, and he knows it. Okay.
Yep.
That's really unfortunate. I hate this game.
He's closed out his stream. He is done. Unfortunately, that's going to be a forfeit from Skurry. He's not going to be continuing. He will continue in the tournament overall. He's going to be knocked down to the loser's bracket to face the winner of Logan versus Ackard. Vysuals, meanwhile, is going to be finishing out the run, presumably, and see whether or not what kind of time that he can post.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I heard him just message in chat, presumably during this cutscene, as there is some delay. I'm fine if he finishes. I'm kind of fine if he doesn't. He's not the closest to finishing. It would just be to show off the race, but it actually is a pretty good time from Viz.
Yeah, we'll see what he ends up deciding that he wants to do.
Should probably switch audio. That would have been smart. I think of these things sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Yeah, you really feel for Skurry here. He was playing it risky. He knew that he should be benching in City of Tears if he wants to play it safer, but he also knew he was behind a bit. And my guess is he knew a death to Watcher Knights was probably GG anyway, so he just decided to risk it. That can't feel good, man.
Yeah, really unfortunate there for Skurry, unfortunately. Not really much else to say about it, to be honest. His Vysuals is going to be heading on to his next Dreamer now, where he's going to be facing off against Umu. Got a little bit of time here if you want to talk about some of the setup that we're going to be doing for Umu as we continue to do some geo-farming here.
Yeah, so we have a lot of time before Umu. We can... The setup for Umu is, all in all, the idea is you want to 2-cycle it. So Viz is asking, do I finish in chat? I'm okay with him either way. You want to set up a 2-cycle. Sometimes RNG can really make it on the realm of hard to impossible, depending on who you ask to set up a 2-cycle. If you miss the 2-cycle, every cycle you miss it by is going to be like 18 to 20 seconds, depending on what Umu does to you. Yeah. So even if you do get a 2-cycle, Umu can do faster, slow attacks. So Umu is like the ultimate RNG in this run. Right now we're selling to Lem, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to get some money from that. About a 20-minute Lem. For a race, that's really good. For Vysuals PB, his PB is probably he would have reset this to his PB is already dead. Because these runners are just so good. They have such good times there. We're going to be walking toward the right side of... Well, not walking. We're going to be dashing. We're not slow. Dashing toward the right side of City of Tears. This will bring us back toward Crystal Peaks, which, again, now that Viz has kind of won the race... Well, kind of. Now that Viz has already won the race, we might see a more interesting Peaks. We might see some really weird tricks, because Peaks is kind of known for the amount of little things you can do that save a lot of time, look really cool, but maybe aren't actually worth it in a race scenario, so we don't get to see on SpeedGaming too much.
Yeah, he definitely has the opportunity here to play more aggressive and do strats that he would be going for in PB attempts as opposed to any sort of marathon or race safety strats. So might see some interesting stuff out of here. Skurry look down on the toll. Yes, excellent. That saves a little bit of time. Run is valid.
Run is valid. The other thing that visuals might do, being visual, is there's a character in the game called Mila that slowly goes crazy as the game progresses. Namely, when you get Crystal Heart, she becomes an enemy instead of a friend. And Viz is known for hating her, so Viz might actually lose some time just to try and kill Mila later, which he has already done once in this tournament.
Would not be surprised to see it at all. Gotta get your memes in while you can.
So buying Lantern here, a common question that people ask is, why do we need Lantern? Why don't you just do the rooms in the dark? It is because the game actually requires that you get Lantern to open a certain toll, and visuals will be coming up to that toll. The only two ways to get into Crystal Peaks are Desolate Dive, which takes forever, or this toll, which takes 1800 geo effectively for Lantern. And it is actually faster to collect the whole 1800 geo than going through the garbage that is Soul Sanctum that is required for getting Dive.
Yeah, getting Dive and then Isma's Tier turns out significantly slower than doing Lantern plus Crystal Heart. Crystal Heart is a essentially infinite dash until you hit something that goes super fast and traverses a whole bunch of different areas. So we pretty much exclusively get Lantern for this. We wish that we did not have to get Lantern, believe us, but we have to, unfortunately. These runners would be completely comfortable doing any dark rooms, but it's just one of those hard lock situations that they have to deal with. Crystal Peaks, meanwhile, probably one of the more areas to watch. Pogax, very nice.
He doesn't know the setup at all. That was not the setup for Pogax.
He's just attempting it and probably bailing on it.
He could have.
No, he's gonna just continue trying to go for it.
Yeah, if you don't know the setup, you might as well just stay here and pray. He's nowhere near. Alright, he'll give up on it. I respect the attempt. He clearly doesn't know the setup, so gotta respect the fact that he went to the right side anyway.
Playing some of the memes. Don't mind it at all. But yeah, Crystal Peak's probably one of the more intriguing areas in terms of just strict platforming. Pretty tight quarters, not a whole lot of enemies that want to kill you, but some cycles that you would ideally like to hit, including this one.
You're
very nice! Slipping through the lasers. That is a 1 pixel trick that you can do. Incredible that he got it in a race situation, honestly. And then some damage tanking strats you're going to be able to do to set up cycles as you head on towards Crystal Heart as well. Just kind of one of those execution-heavy areas.
Viz stopping here to take time to type in chat that he's never done Pogax before and he was just trying to wing it, as we kind of expected. I respect him going for it anyway. Yeah, right now we're just going to be doing some inventory drops toward Crystal Heart. We're kind of done with the fun. Well, actually, we're done with runners' opinions of what the fun part of Crystal Peaks is, but to viewers it's often kind of interesting to see this one damage cycle, assuming he goes for damage cycle. I really hope he doesn't miss a damage cycle, because I don't want to have to go through all of C Peaks again. No, he's not. He's going for damageless. What a 106 runner. 106.
It is the category he has been grinding for the past long time.
That is under the platform, okay. Yeah, 106 actually, after you get Crystal Heart here, does not quit out. When you quit out, you get refreshed to full HP. So in any percent, we don't care if we get down to HP here. Who cares? We're going to quit out anyway. So we can actually save some time from a damage tank. But in most other categories, well, I don't know, most other. In 106 at least, it's kind of useful to have that health so they don't do the damage tank strat here. And Biz, following his roots, does not do damage tank, unfortunately.
Yeah, in 106 they would normally be backing out to collect a whole bunch of other things, including some grubs that are here in Crystal Peaks and so on and so forth. So, but in this category we don't do any of that, so it's just a quick save and quit. 5 again, there was a Death, unfortunately, on Skurry's side, on the left side of your screen there, and he has opted to forfeit the race because it was a pretty punishing death that he would not be able to come back from unless Visuals had a similar punishing death. So, double elimination bracket, Skurry is not out of the tournament yet. He's going to be knocked down into the losers bracket. He'll have an opportunity to climb his way back up.
Yeah, it is the death of the run that you can't afford in a race. It's basically he gets set back multiple minutes just from the respawn, and he would have to find a new way to route all the geo or the money of this game in because he'd lose everything that he was collecting so far. So it's really a, I don't know what the word would be, uncomebackable death.
Insurmountable deficit.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
That's some fancy English right there.
All right, so this is the teacher's archives. This is where Umu is located. But if we take her on a date, perhaps she will play nice and give us the RNG that we so desire. 2-cycle is very hard to set up in this category. We are coming in here significantly underpowered with just Nail 0 and Vengeful Spirit augmented by Shaman Stone. Palm, you want to explain the setup here?
Yeah, Visuals kind of notoriously hates this. It might be PC related too. I know he has a slower PC, but I don't know. he just hates Umu. We're gonna see him try to get Umu. Umu follows where the knight is, very slowly in Viz's case, which is unfortunate. He's gonna try to get Umu into this middle platform here to get him stuck so he can get a full damage cycle off. Umu is very high right now. He does not get a 4th attack. He needs Umu lower. He gets it lower, so he's gonna get stuck in the platform. He's gonna go for these nail hits and fireballs. He's a little bit slow, but I think he gets it. Yeah, Umu's low enough where he'll get the double hit at the end. That's a full damage rotation. Now he misses a dream nail, which is unfortunate because he needs more soul. He's probably not going to get the 3 hits of soul. He's going to try here. He needs 2 more dream nails to get full soul, and needs full soul for the next part of the damage rotation. That's 1. He doesn't have time for 2, so he is not actually going to get the 2-cycle. He's going to come very close to it, though.
He's only got a couple hits left. Dream Nail does no damage to enemies, but it does give you, as Tom mentioned, 3 soul as opposed to the normal nail hits 1 soul on gathering. So it's kind of just a slightly more efficient way, particularly considering that you can't attack Umu with your normal nail strike. Visuals down to 1.
Because you're not even in a race. Just beat the boss.
Okay, he's got it.
Okay. Heal, please. Please heal. Please? Aww. Yeah, Viz has dunked here before. What is that?
That's a good way of putting it, Laurie. A spell's worth of soul. I agree.
Yep, yeah. Okay, he's gonna be fine here. Normally you don't want to heal because doing this little cutscene and freeing the Dreamer will refill your health anyway. But considering, I don't think he mentioned Teacher's Archives, if he fell in that acid there, he would have lost his last HP. He would have respawned all the way back at Dirtmouth. And again, just why didn't you heal, man?
Probably because he's looking at chat.
Fair enough, fair enough. You know, that's a respectable answer.
Chat is the final boss of speedrunning. Can be confirmed by many runners.
Chat's rough, dude. So Visuals with 27-14 here. I didn't see what time his Umi was. This is definitely... We're not looking at something you can PP with, which he's known for a while, and I'm just figuring out now because I need splits to tell.
Yeah, no, he's closing this out for posterity. So heading off now to Hera and Beast's Den, the first 2 dreamers that we saw. Takes an acid dunk because he can, I suppose. The first 2 dreamers that we unlocked here behind Watcher Knights and Umu are boss gated, and the third one is more of a maze gated area where with extremely tight quarters and shafts that you have to traverse, and everything wants to kill you, including some spooky spiders and some devouts that will deal 2 damage if they hit you. And we're only on 5 HP, so a lot of close quarter navigation, and it can definitely be a pretty dangerous split towards the end of the run here.
Yeah, so every time you see Viz stop, well, moreover, every time you see Viz type in chat, you can expect him to stop in the middle of the run somewhere between 15-20 seconds later, depending on how much delay you have. We're just waiting for him to finish the run. He is a fast enough runner where I'm not really concerned about this being done within the hour. I'm sure he'll get it done before even 150. You know, I hope. It depends how much he does this.
Visuals, yeah. Come on, dude.
You don't crystal dash here, Viz. Unfortunate. It was found if you dash, it's actually a little bit faster, but he's a veteran runner. I can't blame him.
Not significantly. But yeah, it is faster. So QGA,
QGA
is an extremely precise and apparently super easy trick to do. As Visuals nails the tight little pixel window that you have there to slap yourself up against the wall and get a crystal dash to either side. That is the reason why we skip Isma's tier, is because we can do that.
Yeah, we've been talking about how difficult it is, and a lot of these runners have just shut us up with getting it like first or second try. Of course, some runners have had struggles with it, as we would expect, but overall in this tournament, we've seen really good QGAs.
When you're learning the run, that's kind of one of the tricks that will gate you from having to go around in through deep nests, which is about a 40-ish second time difference. So ideally, you do obviously want to go for QGA to save almost a minute for free, but it is pretty difficult and takes a fair amount of practice. Thankfully, this game does have a trainer that has been continued to be developed over the past little while and has gotten quite good, which would allow you to basically just have infinite health and constantly respawn right there and try it and try it and try it again, and you don't have to go from a bench and that kind of thing. So if you're interested in getting into this game, the tool is available for you to be able to practice difficult things like that and become a top tier runner.
Yeah, it is a really easy game to get into. As Shape said, there is that practice tool called debug mode. And there's also a lot of other strats you can do, such as getting a nail upgrade, going to deep nest, even getting shade soul if you wanted. Yeah, there's a lot of things that lose a little bit of time, so these top runners aren't going to be doing them, but it makes the game pretty easy to get into. And as Mirrorword was saying, the cruelest death I've seen in the tourney, yeah, it's the cruelest death possible. Dying to Watcher Knights without benching anywhere in City of Tears is by far the worst death you can take in this game.
Alright, so continuing his way through the Beast Den area off to Distant Village. Visuals is in a pretty good situation here. He's on 4 HP, which will allow him to do damage tank strats if he so desires once he enters this area right here. And will he hold right for the run verifying music glitch? That is the question.
Please?
You will?
Yes.
Yes.
Dude, what if he stops at the very end? That would be such a Viz thing to do. I'm scared.
I'm now watching very carefully.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like he held it.
It's okay.
Right. So, it does absolutely nothing other than cool stuff. It continues the music from that trap bench throughout the rest, pretty much all the way to Hollow Knight, I believe, right? Or, I might be. No, I think I'm misremembering.
Up until Hera, yeah.
Yeah, Hera, right. Yeah, because you enter the dream sequence and then it reloads audio.
Yeah. The game realizes its mistake, unfortunately. I'd like it all the way up till Hollow Knight. That'd be funny.
That would be hilarious. Can you imagine the trap bench music in the Hollow Knight fight and how disparate that would be? Like, you've got this orchestrated crescendo Hollow Knight fight music that's getting you all pumped up and, oh, this is going to be so scary, versus...
Oh, Viz, come on, man, just heal. There you go.
As you're fighting Hollow Knight, like, what is this, a circus?
I mean, you're free to listen to whatever. You could just turn the music off and then have your own music.
Yeah, you could, totally. Just Nightmare King Grim for everything.
As I have recently found out, you are not allowed to turn the entire audio off. That will actually invalidate your run.
Yes.
Don't do that. So Viz doing some intentional damage tanks here. Not all of those damage tanks were intentional, but the ones in the Devout where he dashes into it to get more nail hits and to get enough fireballs to basically one cycle, if you will, the Devout. Those were intentional. So, not the best Beast Den, but again, he doesn't really care, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's just kind of finishing out the run, which will be coming out reasonably shortly after this dream sequence here. He's just going to be going back to Dirtmouth and then dashing right a couple times, heading off to the Black Egg Temple, and fighting the Hollow Knight. Looks like he's probably within range of a mid-35 here.
No. I'd be surprised if he gets any kind of 35. Well, I guess... Okay, to your credit, with a gold Hollow Knight, like with a really good Hollow Knight, he probably could get a mid-high 35.
I said within range.
All right, I'm sorry.
Going to do it. Come on.
No, I'm just rude, dude.
You're gonna change your name from Palm to Rude.
Okay, what? My opinion, I'm looking at this time, right? I'm thinking my Hollow Knight to 4 minutes. So no, there's no way I'm getting a 35 with this. Visuals Hollow Knight does not take him about 4 minutes.
The extra look down on the toll booth. That's right, bow to the stag. Good sir.
Yeah, Skurry is a strat where he's trying, where you do like 3 lookdowns in a row there, and it makes the bell not only spawn instantly, but it also doesn't even use the animation of the bell coming up.
He did consider going to
I
Milo.
know he did. I know he did. No,
Don't
see,
do
okay, here it is, right? He would have gone to Mila, except he wants to prove me wrong that he can't get a 35. This is why he's not going to. What is
that would be very visual to do. It's like, oh, you're gonna trash talk me on stream. Yeah, watch me get a 35, bud. Alright, so entering the Black Egg Temple on the way to the Hollow Knight. Where we're gonna be mostly trying to avoid parries. RNG aspect of the fight, unfortunately. Can't
what? He's going back?
Okay,
oh,
no, I don't understand. Anyway, yeah, so avoiding RNG parries and then trying to get double hits. He's going for my luck. Unbelievable.
Dude, he literally took time to message in chat. I did consider going for Milo.
And then he entered the Black Egg Temple.
You want to know my new theory?
Oh, I know why he did that. I know why he entered the temple. He's just baiting the swings.
What? Why did he enter the temple? Is he like quitting out of the temple?
Yeah.
Oh, is it a quit out to it? I didn't know that. Actually.
The moment you enter, I'm pretty sure it opens a hard save at the bench, or do you have to cross the bench first?
I'm not sure. I've never gone into Black Egg and then quit out. Like,
it might be when you cross the bench.
It doesn't seem like he knows.
Things that I don't remember because I don't consider that. He probably knows it though. See those dash dances?
It's a close fight. The true final boss. Mila and Chat, the 2 true final bosses. I don't know why he entered. I guess he just thought... Oh, alright, here's my theory. Ready? So, at first, I'm like, he wants to disprove me and get a 35. But then he realized that he wasn't going to get a mid-35. So he turned around and killed Mila anyway. That's my new thought.
Quite possible, quite possible.
We can ask him after. He'll just, no matter what we ask him, he'll just trash talk me. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, problem.
I am so mad. Why are you so mad? That's that guy? Oh, I got it. Not the best start to the fight here. He missed both doubles. He also did hit a counter. The double is another thing that he keeps missing. It's where the Hollow Knight dashes and you throw a fireball, and as we mentioned earlier, the fireball hitbox collides with the Hollow Knight hitbox twice, which means you get 2 hits off of it. First scream at 3 HP. I kind of just wanted to survive this fight. It's definitely not a good fight by his standards. 2 HP, and this is a hard attack to dodge. 1 HP. Oh
you
no,
know, he's probably already thinking of like, I just want to run 106 right now.
You know when he finishes the stream, he's just going to start his own stream and do some 106 runs.
Yeah, 100% is what he's going to be doing. He's already like thinking about the things that he needs to clean up in his 106 run, and you know, he's already kind of doing like that visualization, mental practice thing. I did not mean to make a joke there on his name, by the way.
His name is very easy to accidentally do that with.
Yeah.
Connor, I agree. This is a fixed gauge game fight. It's gotten a little cleaner since the beginning. Doesn't even try for scream skip. I'm disappointed. Yeah, Keiki died to watch Knights Without Benching. Respawned with 0 Geo toward the Salubra hut, which is just a run, as I'm sure you know, it's just a run killer. So this is going to finish with almost a 36 here. It's probably going to be a really low 37. Again, the time is a bit of a whatever. He's definitely paused to chat a few times, gone and killed Mila. It's not a time that he cares to be proud of, to be honest.
right, well, sent Visuals an invite to see if he wants to pop in for an interview. Chat real quick about that.
You handling that?
Yeah, I already sent him
All
a
right.
link. He's still typing in chat.
Liz, you could be talking to chat instead of typing in. Join
Imagine using your microphone visuals.
us. Crazy. You can use your face cam too. Just won't do anything.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna put it up. We wouldn't want to embarrass the rest of the HK community.
Oh wow. I don't know if he's joining. I don't even know if he knows he has the invite yet.
I don't know. Visuals.
I should have benched. Yeah. Just get him a call.
There we go.
Hello.
Hello, Visuals. GG. Probably not the way that you were looking forward to this race going.
Not at all.
No.
I'm sad.
I know you and Skurry have a long-standing history between True Ending and 90%. Were you watching the restream?
Yeah, I had like there was a couple mistakes where I kept looking at my phone and then realizing that I did a room wrong. Like in the very beginning on the way to VS, I was looking at my phone, but I had the chat open the whole time. So as soon as I saw him pop in and say sorry guys, I was like, God damn it, I know he died to Watcher Nights.
Yeah, he died to Watcher Nights, and as I'm sure you know now, respawned at Salubra.
Yeah. He said he wasn't feeling confident about the race. I was like, okay, he's definitely gonna bench then. I would hope. I was confused about why he didn't.
It was a nice tight race. He actually had. I wouldn't be surprised if he golded. He had an insane city. You were about 20 seconds ahead coming into city, and about 14 seconds ahead at Chandelier starting Watcher Nights, and you had a pretty good city yourself.
Yeah, mine was actually pretty decent. So if he was 6 seconds, if he gained 6 seconds on me, that would actually be really good. I would guess I lost 4 seconds to my gold or something.
Yeah, it was something like, say, I might not be exactly correct, but he had a very clean city. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, and I'm hoping that you guys end up facing off in the winners bracket later on. Skurry obviously being knocked down to the losers bracket, facing the winner of Logan v. Acrid. You're going to be facing off against Trinomi Visuals. Your thoughts on that match?
Indeed. I'm not taking Trinomi lightly at all. I know, even though he was pretty rusty in his race versus Pest, he obviously still won and got a 34-22, which is nothing to sneeze at. But yeah, I'm not going to be running any percent every day or anything, but obviously a couple days before the race, I'll practice and whatnot.
That's kind of been your strategy throughout the race, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Not mad.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, it's something that happens, you know. He probably knew he was behind. He probably knew about how far behind he was, and
was trying to take every little thing.
Exactly. And then it just kind of backfired on him. It's something that happens, you know, and it's a risk that you have to take in this kind of situation. You have to make decisions and adapt, based on where you are against your opponent, I think. So unfortunate that it occurred that way. But like I said, hopefully we get to see you guys race against each other again later on in the tournament.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks for popping in. Viewers, thanks so much for watching. This is going to be our only match today. We're going to be resuming the tournament on Tuesday, October 29th at noon Eastern. It's going to be Homophily versus X2U. You can go to speedgaming.org/schedule to find out when that is going to be, what channel that's going to be on. Probably the day of the race is when they'll assign it a channel. So, Visuals, thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Palm, thanks for being on CoComs. My name is Shafe, and take care, guys. We'll see you again soon.
See ya.
Later.